Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Stefan on the French Cooking Academy, and this week one of our students on our online French cooking club came and asked me a question about balsamic vinegar and what could be paired with it. And as I was doing my research to provide an answer, I discovered that there are two ingredients that are considered to be an ethereal match for balsamic. It means this is the best possible ingredient that can ever be matched with a balsamic vinegar, and here the red balsamic. Now the first one was tomato. Didn't surprise me, balsamic is Italian. Tomato, you think of Italy, salads, dressing, fair enough. But the second one, I will leave you here 2 or 3 seconds to think about what it could be while I'm talking, and I'm sure you're not even close because it's a fruit and it is strawberries. Now, strawberries is the last thing I would have ever imagined that would be the ultimate thing that can be paired with balsamic. And this is a decision that was unanimous across chefs around the world. Everybody says strawberries and balsamic is a match made in heaven. And of course, when I read that, I was like, I'm gonna have to try this out. So I've whipped up a little recipe. We're gonna be making here macerated strawberries in a balsamic reduction, served with a mascarpone cream, sprinkled with a few fresh basil leaf and maybe a little tuile, a little biscuit for some crunch. So is it a myth? Is it a truth? Let's find out. So since we're going to be using balsamic vinegar in our dessert, let's educate ourselves a little bit. The balsamic vinegar, it's a vinegar type coming from Italy. It comes in red balsamic vinegar and white balsamic vinegar. In terms of quality, you've got 3 levels. The top-notch one that I don't have here resembles the bottle you see on the left here. It will have a reference here, not IGP, it's called DOP, that tells you that it's really from the town of Modena. It is made using the traditional methods. It is made and bottled in Modena, and also it's been aged for a very long time compared to the one you've got here, which is the lesser product, the IGP. And it's another type of appellation. This one, I've got the grapes mixed with wine and then is macerated for much shorter time. So you have much more acidity in that one, and we're going to have to reduce that one, maybe add some honey to sweeten up a little bit because we're making a dessert. The third one, the third type that you've got on the right here is interesting. It's called the commercial type of balsamic. And these are balsamic vinegar, as you see on this one, saying, oh, it's from Modena. It's actually perhaps made with some grapes or grape juice has been imported from Modena, but it's bottled elsewhere. And it's actually not the real thing. And you'll find lots of versions of those labeled as crema or caramelized balsamic or all sorts, but they are simply standard vinegars with all kinds of additives and sugars and caramel and trying to mimic and fake the real things. And if you've been buying these in the shop all these years, chances are you actually never ever tried a real balsamic vinegar. So here for that video, we're going to use the IGP one that we're going to reduce, sweeten a little bit, and it's going to make sure we have something at least authentic on our plate. And now let's start the recipe. Before we begin, keep in mind what I said about the balsamic vinegar, that I don't have the top-notch one, which is the DOP 20 years old or 15 years old, because that will have a natural sweetness. I've got the IGP, which is acidic, so we're gonna have to trick and add some sweetness to it. So straight off the bat, I'm not gonna be able to experience the ultimum thing with the pure natural sweetness from the balsamic. So what I'm gonna have to do here, I've got my strawberries. I'm gonna have to leave the strawberries to macerate in a mixture with the balsamic vinegar, with some sugar. I'm gonna add some jam to add some sweetness, lemon juice, and a touch of Szechuan pepper. I'm gonna then do a reduction of balsamic vinegar, again adding some sweetness. I'm gonna use honey to add some sweetness, a little bit of port, and then some butter. So you see I have to trick, I have to add the sweetness that is not in there. For the serving, here we're gonna have a mascarpone cream. So get mascarpone cream, icing sugar, some vanilla and decoration. I'm gonna use basil leaf, I'll pick them after. You can use mint and some biscuit or anything to decorate, and we're good to go. The first thing we're gonna do here is the maceration of the strawberries. Now strawberries nowadays, they're not all that super sweet unless you get the really super duper that are in season, they're gonna be really sweet, but here having a bit of sweetness added will help. For this special maceration mixture, we're going to be using the balsamic. So you can see, let me try it a bit. Oh wow, that's something else. Wow, yeah, now I understand what it means. It's a real balsamic and nothing to do with the things from a supermarket or anything like that. So we've got the jam. I'm gonna add, of course, some sugar, a pinch of Szechuan pepper, that's just for the heat, it's a bit of a fancy thing. And here, just a few drops lemon juice. Take a whisk. And nothing fancy to start with. We just have the balsamic with this added sweetness. So remember, if you had the real balsamic vinegar, you almost wouldn't have to do anything. My strawberries, you can cut them in half, or if they're really small, you can leave them whole. And all what we're going to do is toss the whole thing. And we're going to leave this to macerate for about 15 minutes at room temperature. You can do 15, 20. We don't want this to turn into a mush, but commercial strawberries nowadays, they're pretty good. All right, so better view on here, so you can see what's happening. So we're re-tossing all these strawberries in here, so it's nice and glossy, and you see it's a bit syrupy actually, and with the element we've added, and that's going to really improve the taste, and it already looks good, so I'm looking forward. So I'm going to put a little plastic wrap on there, and we're going to leave this to macerate for 15 minutes, as I said. Now that we're waiting for the strawberries, we've got ample time to prepare the other element. The first thing we're going to do here is the mascarpone cream. So it's a simple mixture of mascarpone, the cream, and some flavor elements. So we got the mascarpone in here. We're going to add, so this is double cream, okay, followed by the sugar. There's a pinch of salt actually that we put in there, and icing sugar that I think I'm going to pass through a little, it's not a sieve, I don't know what it is, but let's filter it. Perfect, and to finish, we're going to add, these are the vanilla seeds. So this is from the vanilla pod. I've scraped the seeds out as much as I can, and we're going to mix the whole lot. So when I say mixing, it's like whipping some cream. So we've got the vanilla, we've got the mascarpone, and we're just going to first blend like this to make sure everything is well spread out. And as you whisk like it slowly, it's going to turn into it's almost like a whipped cream. It's going to have that consistency, you see. You want something quite firm so that you can serve it maybe with a spoon as a quenelle kind of shape. All right, I think we should be done. Look at this. This is the consistency, so it's like a whipped cream, except that you got lots of mascarpone, so it's going to hold very well. Once you make a quenelle, a bowl of it, or even a dollop, it's not going to go anywhere, which is perfect for desserts. So we're ready. We're going to put this in the fridge. Our mascarpone cream with the vanilla is in the fridge, so the vanilla seeds are going to infuse or diffuse the flavor. And now we can make the glaze. So what we're making here is a balsamic glaze. So we got the balsamic vinegar, and because it's too acidic for comfort, I'm adding some port, also same color, and we have our little bit of honey. Okay, and we're going to gently heat that up and reduce it until it becomes syrupy. My heat is on very low, and this is the concoction that we have. You can see it's very liquid, and all what we're going to do is reduce it. So very slowly, you don't want a raging boil, it's just a very light simmer, and take your time, and we're just going to wait. You can swirl the pan from time to time, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So after 4 minutes or something like this, my mixture is ready. Now my balsamic is I've got that kind of syrupy consistency, it sticks to the spoon, and we're going to be adding butter just before serving. So we leave it here to cool down, and then we're going to add a little piece of butter swirling in, and that's going to be the drizzle we're going to be using over the strawberries. So we've got everything ready. We've got the glaze, the strawberries are macerated, they are ready, and we've got the mascarpone cream. We're virtually ready to assemble. Now my strawberries are ready, and what I like to do, and as I let them sit in a sieve like this for just a little bit to drain out the excess of the macerating juices, because remember we have the glaze to drizzle over, so you don't want to end up with a clash of flavors first and not a pond of sauce everywhere at the bottom of your plate, especially when you're plating. That's very important if you want something elegant. So we've got all the elements when I'm ready to serve. I've added my butter, the equivalent of this, you see, a little, about 5 grams, and swirl this into my glaze that starts to be really fixed on here. I've got my cream ready, I've got the strawberries, and don't forget to have your leaves and your biscuit, and be ready for the plating. And now, let's put this onto a plate and try it out. Okay, so let's try to build a little degustation portion. I've got my strawberries on here. I'm going to use that little plate. So we put everything in there, up, like that. Then we're going to try to add a quenelle of that cream that we've got on here. Up. See if I destroy it with my quenelle. I did say that I will add a little bit of basil that I've got here. We've got some biscuit for the crunch. I'm going to put some on here. And of course, in here, we're going to have also a glaze. So we've got some basil. We've got the macerated strawberries, and let's pour the glaze over. Now the glaze has gone really syrupy on me, like big time. So I'm going to try to use a special spoon there. Look at that. Oh, caramel, caramel. And that's it, maybe a little, you know, an additional bit of a leaf on here. And what I'm curious about here is just how it's gonna taste. So let's go. Yes, so here we are. After reading this ethereal match, let's have a taste, because this is exactly the moment I was looking for, and I found that. Look at this ancient fork I found in my cupboard. It looks like a trident. Strawberries macerated with the glaze. So let's try to pick one. Just on its own. You would need some really sweet strawberries. I can still feel the, you know, not so sweet kind of type of taste from the strawberries. I would have liked something sweeter, but now with the glaze, let's see that. No, it does go well. It definitely, that sweetness is the sweetness from the balsamic here, even though it's not the real thing, it's not the DOP one. Extremely surprising. So you've got that kind of, you know, it's like a sweet and sour kind of thing going on, and I haven't tried that that vanilla cream. So vanilla, mascarpone cream, the balsamic reduction, macerated strawberries, and let's try some basil on here. Okay, it's a piece of basil. Basil. Oh wow. The basil really adds a dimension that the cream on its own with just the strawberry is absolutely delicious. Easy to eat, but interestingly enough, it's more like an experience type of thing. You know, I thought it was going to be some kind of something that's going to be really sweet, but it's more of an adult experience, I would say. You know, for the connoisseur, because it is still a little bit acidic, so you think of vinegar, but it is really masked by the strawberries. And as a surprise dessert, that will absolutely do the trick. And now for the final verdict. So, is this an ethereal combination pairing? I would say that to get to that level of sublime, you would need to have the best of the best strawberry in season, like the French Garriguette when it's the height of the season, and combine that with the real DOP balsamic that is naturally syrupy and sweet. So you don't have to tweak like this by just adding honey and stuff like that. So does strawberry works with balsamic, with a real balsamic, even in IGP like this? Absolutely. This is brilliant. The combination is great. It is an experience. If you never try, bring some guests over, make this. It is not complex. It is something you know, that you have to try for yourself. Now that vanilla mascarpone cream was beautiful, and the basil addition was a little touch of mine that works also beautifully. But I would say that yes, again, there are some holdback because I didn't have the right product. So keep this in mind if you want to make that recipe. The better the strawberry you're gonna get, the better balsamic you're gonna get, the better and more exceptional that dessert is gonna become. But that completes a little tryout for this week with the strawberries. Now, if you try that combination, or if you know perhaps something else that goes really well with balsamic vinegar and the true one, let me know in a comment. And as for me, I will see you next time for another video on the French Cooking Academy. Take care all, bye bye. My appetite, don't leave me here high and dry.